Hello!
Hi! Siema, siema.
Well, it's episode 9. What's 9 mean?
End of cycle.
End of cycle, season 2.
New beginning.
New beginning. And we're like 2 days away from our first ever episode a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just checked that out. That's pretty cool. And we're talking today about the buffer of time between desire and manifestations.
Yes, we
of.
do.
Yeah.
And what to do with it, because people get confused about this buffer of time. They just have a wrong concept quite often that actually make them manifest much slower because they focus on the wrong thing. So we're going to be talking about that. Just to bring a little bit of clarity, because I strongly believe that when you are aware and understand what is happening, it's so much easier for you to keep believing and trusting that whatever you want to manifest is manifesting, and you're not panicking in this space in between desiring and actualizing.
Brilliant.
So to speak.
If you're into manifesting or you struggle with it, it's a good time to drop some comments in. And as always, if you get something from this podcast or video, however you're consuming the information, makes sense to
make notes.
Make some notes, yeah, and give it a little share. Why not? Or tag a friend in, or post it away out into space. I'll do that anyway. Sharing is caring.
All right.
So we've been talking a lot this season, quite a bit on manifestation, haven't we?
A lot.
Yeah.
About spirituality, manifestation, about the invisible.
Yeah.
And today we're gonna be talking about it again.
We're talking about it again because it's important.
It is.
Sorry to butt in, but it's good for, if you're into setting goals, and because that's what it is really. But it's another, I suppose, another tool in the toolbox to get the things that you want.
100%. So you mentioned setting goals.
Yeah.
Well, for me, straight away is like about putting the time frame on things, where really with the way I look at things right now is completely different. I don't put the time frame on anything because that's obviously my own experience, which I'm sharing with you. You might have a completely different concept and way of viewing something, what works for you, and that's absolutely fine. We sometimes have different opinions, and we're bound to have our own opinions. So let's just accept the fact that I'm expressing my own, okay? And if it resonates with you, that's great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. So I found that me personally, if I set myself a goal and I put a time frame on it, automatically I put the pressure on the manifestation.
Yeah.
And I find that it's counterproductive for me personally, because I feel like quick, I need to do it now, and it has to be done by X, Y, Z.
So we go into a bit of a scarcity mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is how I operate.
Yeah.
And what works for me is working with the invisible, which means that sometimes, even if I, let's say, want to manifest something, and in the literal realm, I would set myself a time frame for it, let's say 3 months. I know very well that this buffer of time between the actual goal or desire and manifestation is depending on alignment.
Yeah.
So I focus on feeling good.
Yeah.
And I take inspired action, because then I know this is the right thing to do. That's the action that actually brings me results, and quite often much faster than in 3 months. Do you know what I mean?
So in a way, you're raising your vibration at the same time, yeah?
Oh, 100%.
You're working on your gratitude and for having something that... So you kind of... Would you say you're sort of living it as if you've got it?
Well, you have to, because like we spoke just before we came on live today, there's lots of wonderful spiritual teachers out there, and they pretty much share the same message. They use just different words, but they say the same thing, right? You have to become that thing you want to achieve in life, okay? So it's not like, when I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna be this. No. This is not how it works. You have to feel it. You have to walk the talk.
Yeah.
You have to just be it, because what is happening in your external world is just a mere expression of your inner world.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel it that way, then don't expect that your external will look just different.
So we create our reality then, basically.
We do create our reality. And what is happening when we transitioning from wherever we are to wherever we want to be? Let's say you have this desire for improvement, whether this is just health or this is business, you name it, okay? There is a buffer of time in between, which means, what is this buffer of time? You're practicing, you're trying to embody the feeling of what is it like to be that person, with this body, with this house, with this business, whatever it is. and you're still yet in your old reality, right? Old personality,
Yeah.
old perception of self. And when you're trying to introduce new concept, new way of looking at yourself, it's not, you can't turn 180 degrees. That quantum leap doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have mixture of those two, okay? And you're gonna have a little bit of the old mixed with a little bit of the new, and this
So it's a transition phase.
It is transition phase, but there is a big but. What quite often stops people from moving forward and believing and trusting that they eventually come out on the other side of the transition and they're gonna be living new reality, is that we are having this thing ingrained in our mind that we are getting hooked up on negative far too quickly, and we see what is wrong instead of focusing what is right.
100% agree.
Then there is another thing, okay? It's easier just fall into trap of thinking like everybody else is thinking. So when you're trying to think your own way and believing in your new way that which has not been practiced yet, you just sometimes you how to say it properly. You have to keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
You can't be talking to anybody about it, okay?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna talk yourself out of the process.
Yeah.
So in order to stay on track and stay positive, great practice is to do them gratitude in the morning and affirmations, and believe and trust that this process of transition is also about being consistent with the new practice. It's just like a new habit, okay, which eventually will become your new belief, but it requires practice, and is the best if you practice in the privacy of your own mind.
Yeah.
Okay, and then eventually you're gonna attract people who resonate with you, who will be confirming your way of thinking and feeling. But you can't be doing this in the environment that is not supportive, because you are actually creating different environment for yourself in that
There's
moment.
too much of an overlap then, isn't there?
Yeah. So that's two main things, but there's so many other things, and I think that was Dr. Joe Dispenza. He explained beautifully in the process, and he said, when you wake up in the morning and you obviously go into meditation, not everybody does meditation, but I do. You do too. It's a great practice because it helps you to clear your mind.
Yeah.
And it helps you to choose consciously what you want. Okay, so your brain is becoming cleansed out of the yesterday clutter.
Yeah.
And every morning you actually press the reset button, and if you do it religiously and every day, eventually this new programming is taking over, so then you don't have to deal with the clutter from the day before, right? Because your way of thinking is forward, not backwards.
Yeah.
Right?
That's key there, is forward.
Yes, it is forward.
It's forward. And
I also believe that, especially when we're in the process of transitioning and things are coming up to the surface which we consider as bad, and some people would say, oh, this is not proving, that I'm moving in the right direction. It's actually quite opposite. Sometimes things need to break loose in order to create the space for the new to come in.
Yeah.
It's like when you have a cup that is full of water, okay? And you want to change the liquid in it. You have to spill over before you can top it up again.
Hey, sometimes things break because you need something new.
Yes. Yes, so if you understand that everything is just in the perfect order, and things that's meant to fall apart, fall away, are falling apart and falling away, instead of crying over it, and thinking this is the wrong thing, look at it from completely different perspective. It's actually creating space for the new to come in.
Yeah.
So the process is already happening. Okay, we just need to change the way we're looking at things.
100% agree.
Yeah.
So this space, this time buffer is, so does it come down to like how and what we're manifesting? So for example, if I'm like, was it lottery tonight or something? I don't know. I want to be a millionaire. Is that too big?
Do you know, for a universe, there is no such thing too big or too small. The question is what you believe in.
Yeah.
And sometimes, especially when you're starting this conscious manifestation process, I say conscious on purpose because we're manifesting every single day.
Oh, we are.
It's not like this is process that you put on the shelf
I know.
and you can use it only when you decide to use it. We are using it every single day.
I think it's important you said that, because it is happening all the time.
All the time.
Whatever you're thinking is going to happen.
Yeah.
You're creating realities, and multiverses, really.
It is.
It is. It's just you can create quite easy absolute another multiverse and going off on it now. Like each of us have our own. Like there's
We do.
different versions of ourselves. There's the one that I perceive of you is one you perceive of yourself. One of that person that just walked past perceives of us. It's a different reality of us all together. So.
And all of this is a manifestation.
Yeah.
So going back to what you said, if is desire of being a millionaire too big? Well, let me ask you a question: is it too big for you?
Because no, it's like a hypothetical question, really, for someone that's watching, because it's a question I would imagine might come up, and it might be like that stumbling block for someone to, well, I'm going to manifest, and it doesn't happen, and they're like, well, this doesn't work.
First of all,
do you see what I'm saying?
First of all, I would highlight something. The words you're using. I'm gonna.
It's a hypothetical thing, actually.
Yes. No, but I know, and I'm using you as an example.
Yeah. Okay,
so you said I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna always be I'm gonna. Like I will always be I will.
Yeah.
That's why you have to change the wording. I am. Do you remember what I said earlier? It's about embodying those feelings, those manifestations as they already happened.
Words are so important.
It is. Now, when it comes to big goals like I am a millionaire, do not practice that when you're feeling bad, because it will backfire at you.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I would suggest starting with something small, something what you have less resistance to, something what is easier for you to believe in. I don't know, it could be a cup of coffee. You'll be seeing this particular friend, something that will help you to see that this manifestation practice and the practicing on the purpose is working. Okay, and then start moving to bigger tasks. But like I said earlier, for universe, nothing is too big or too small. Everything is the same. The button is as big as the castle, and the castle is as big as the button. It's about your belief and your actually self-belief.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And again, every belief is nothing different than the thought that you keep thinking over and over and over. Majority of our beliefs, especially those limiting, well, not all of them, but many of them, but limiting and not limiting, are rooted in our childhood. So accept the fact that this been projected on you and you accepted this at some point as your own. All right, so and now it's playing from the background and affecting your life in a good way or in a bad way. If it's affecting your life in a bad way, let me tell you something. Because belief is nothing different than the thought that we keep thinking over and over and over. You can change it, but it requires practice. You have to be practicing this every single day until it becomes your second nature.
Yeah.
It's just like driving a car. You're taking on a new skill. You're learning new skill. You have to focus on every detail of it. You have to consciously focus on it, right? Let's say driving a car, press the clutch, change the gearbox, hold on to the steering wheel, look at the road, don't forget the mirrors. There are so many things going on. And after a while, what you do, when you already mastered all of those things, those skills are going in the background into your subconscious mind. So you're driving car from the subconscious mind, and all of a sudden you're doing things you're not supposed to. You're talking to your friend on the phone, right? You're texting because you already learned those skills and they are playing from the background. Okay, it is the same with creating new belief. The same with practicing new beneficial thoughts for you, right? And eventually, that's why they say it takes a couple of weeks, of conscious and continuous practice to start seeing things happening. Okay, and when you are trying to create a new habit that will promote and benefit your manifestation practices, there will be a buffer of time. Like we said earlier, there will be a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And if you keep focusing on where you're going, not where you are, you will keep moving faster. And the same way, you're gonna create, your new belief much faster, because you won't be so hooked up on those hiccups along the way. Okay. So this is basically what I've practiced myself. This is what I've experienced myself. I had the moments when I focused on those negative, and I pulled out from the manifestation practice and I put it on the shelf. As you already know, it doesn't work like that. But after so many years of studying it inside and out, I've learned this one thing, that we really manifest what we want. The question is what we want, what we focus on. Because the thing is, you see, universe can't hear I do want or I don't want. It only focus on what you focus on.
Yeah.
So if you keep saying, I don't want this to happen, I don't want this to happen, I don't want that to happen, you are actually attracting it to your reality.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So you becoming, as you practice, as you learn about this stuff, you're becoming more conscious of the words you use, of the way you think,
And
on
you
what
do.
you
It's
focus on.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
You you think about it a bit more. If you've got good people around you who kind of get it, they pull you up on it as well, which is good. So it really does work. My kids, they pull me up. So just got to keep working it, isn't it? So.
Oh, we've got a doggy. That's all right. So going back to your kids.
So it's a habit.
Yes, it is habit.
Yeah,
but I just wanted
habits.
to say something because you mentioned kids, and I do believe, especially when you have kids, that's gonna actually come out wrong. But I hope you understand what I mean. Use them as a tool to learn how to manifest, because when they want something, they don't doubt it.
No, well, yeah, think about it, right? So that's a good point. So, when it was Christmas and if you believe in Santa, and
I used to do it.
yeah,
I used to believe in Santa.
right? So I'd say majority of people, when you made that wish of the toy you wanted, I'd say at least 9 times out of 10 you got it, and you believed you would get it. Now, yeah, okay, we could say other factors come in, but you believed it. And that's basically what happens.
There was no contradictory thought that could put you away from the manifestation, right?
Yeah.
So.
And I bet if you think on just certain things that have happened in life, there'll be times you just knew something, was going to happen, and it happened. You believed it, whatever it may be. And I think it's important to focus on your day of, especially when you're starting out with this, of what did go right. So having that gratitude and just noticing, and like the smallest little things.
Because this is confirmation of that things are falling into place, and they are falling into place to your favor, right? Definitely. I've got this alarm note set on my phone, so actually I have few alarm times, but what I'm trying to say is I've got a note that is coming up on my screen when the alarm goes off, and it says, "Universe, show me how good it gets today." And it just like flashes in a big bold letter, and this automatically puts smile on my face and reminds me of conscious choice and thinking the way I prefer to think.
Yeah.
Because sometimes something happens that you haven't planned, that wasn't down to it wasn't your choice. It affected your mood and attitude. And listen, that's okay. Okay, we are not machines. We are humans, and we have this variety of emotions.
But I've got to say something, right? Because this all ties in with positive thinking. So when those things happen, when you conscious with it, then it's a little bit easier to step back from it.
So you're becoming observer.
Yeah, definitely.
You're not being consumed by whatever is just arising to the surface.
Yeah.
And that's great. Also, when from the position of observer, you are learning to look at for positive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't take it so personally. You're just thinking in terms of bigger picture. And you're trusting that whatever is happening, whether we label it good or bad, is for higher purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And eventually everything turns out, just to your favor, because you were not consumed by the parts of the process.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is very important. Very important. You actually took me away from my.
Didn't I?
That's what you do. Naughty. So what is one of the practices that you're doing now that helping you to believe in the manifestation you're creating?
Well, a combination of things, I guess.
Okay,
meditating more, right? More conscious about what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, which is really important, and just making some conscious changes about my environment and other stuff, and actually, really just thinking in the context of whatever it is I'm striving for, I have now.
Mm.
And that's exciting. And just, so we've talked about a lot of things that we're working on and working towards, right?
Mm.
So having that belief now and focusing on these positives, and it's something. I got a couple of things that I'm going to be working on soon, with my creativity, and that really helps.
Mm.
That really helps, and just having a pattern interrupt, from just coming away from things and just, this is how it is, and this is whatever. So there's a lot of different things I think are factoring into my manifestations, and when I really believe it's like, yeah, that's going to happen.
Mm.
This is how it's going to be. I think we both watched this guy on TikTok, and he was talking about how he built up his TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and within a year, and this is whatever it is he's doing, yeah. And he said he wrote down, how it was going to make him feel, how it's going to happen, when it was going to happen, and within real fine detail. So I think there's a lot of factors that come into this, and starting slowly, and there's things I know I've got to improve on and to build up. So it's one of them. It's like it's like getting into the when you get into the water and it's freezing cold.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can jump in and that's okay, and sometimes you just got to ease yourself in a little bit.
Yeah,
and that's okay too. But it's just something as well with the positive thinking that you can't make something go away for it, but you can certainly create a better feeling at the end of the day. Because it's a bit, we can get conditioned. And I think I was very much like this years ago, and we've talked about this buffer of time. And I think when we was walking up to here, you said something to me like, and I was thinking, yeah, this is so true. Like the person I was when I was 8 years old, which is only 20 years ago. But that person, there's an element of me in there, because obviously, whatever was being indoctrinated that was good into me. And again, something we said recently is that when you see something good and you think, oh, I really like that about that person, I'm going to embrace that and I'm going to make it part of my life.
Wow. So
focusing on, I went off on one. We evolve. Evolving and changing is so important for me. Growth is really important. And keeping that positive mindset, and when it's having a bit of a knock, pattern interrupt, change this approach, because I don't want to be stuck in that. And it's learning then to remove that negative thought or experience, whatever it is, removing that really quickly, and then start focusing on something that's positive. And do you know what? It's really, really helped. Sometimes just walking in a park, whatever. It's a change of approach.
Oh, that's changing. That is changing your energy in your body.
Definitely.
So that definitely
and then I feel it.
Yeah, 100%. So one of the easiest way of easing yourself, from whatever dark cloud you're in to better feeling place.
That dark cloud is like, it's a lot. We're talking like a couple of minutes. It might come in and out a bit, but not consumed with it for an hour, a day, or years and years ago. Going back maybe about 8. I'll be consumed in that for days. Do you know what I mean?
But many people still practice that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say something because I think this is important, okay? Worth highlighting. Trying to cancel the negative thought does not work.
No, it doesn't.
Do you remember this quote? Do not focus on elephant. Do not focus on elephant. Do not focus on elephant. Yeah. Oh, you're focusing on elephant.
Yeah.
This is what is happening. If you keep thinking about the thought that you don't want to think,
it does. It keeps happening.
So, what is the solution? Focus on what you want instead. Yeah. Focus on something like, it wasn't Rhonda.
So I can give you an example, right? So I would say, I don't want drama in my life. I don't want drama in my life, yeah?
Well, you have no
and then
drama.
they end up having drama,
yeah.
And I think you said to me recently that. So, okay, let's change it. This is what I want. 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 And then things that I wanted started to happen.
Yeah, I want joy. I want happiness. I want ease. I want to feel relaxed. I want to smile. I want to have a great fun. And the thing is, to see those things will start coming up to you.
They really are.
And this is what I'm saying, because you're focusing on the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want supposed to be get rid of, you know, just from our vocabulary. You know, it might slip in sometimes, but when we become conscious of how we speak, we have to remember we're speaking things into existence all the time. Okay, all the time. So it's important to be conscious of how we use the words, and because behind the words is the meaning, right? And this is what the universe hears. Here's the meaning, and it brings you. You don't like this? Yeah, there is more of that. You don't like this? There is more of that. You know, because it's just like a magnet, and whatever you focus on, you're gonna have more of. So again, going back to this buffer of time. All right, this process. This new way of thinking is not something we've been taught.
No.
Therefore, you have to show yourself a lot of compassion in the process, because you're uploading completely different type of programming, which sometimes goes against the logic.
Yeah, right. When they release new Windows, there's a bit of glitch there. So sometimes there's some glitches in the process.
And that's how it happens in our life.
Yeah,
right?
and then but if you're aware of it, you can notice it, and actually, again, you can kind of okay, what was that about? Okay, it needs to be this, this, and this. Solutions.
Always focus on
Solutions.
And when your momentum picks up and you're really running really fast, you know, in the wrong direction. Well, there is no wrong direction. But let's say, you know, you focused on something for far too long before you realized that you did.
Yeah.
And it took you in the direction opposite to what you wanted.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes just run with it, okay? Run with it, allow it, you know, crash it and burn, because at some point, you know, you will get tired of thinking that way, okay? Screaming, shouting, or whatever it is. You're gonna go to sleep, and then in the morning there will be another day, and the only time that it really matters is now. So it's your choice. Do you want to talk about what happened yesterday, bring it to present moment, and then carrying it forwards to the future? Or you are using this as a reset button and you're going back to what you've chosen purposefully to improve your life, quality of life, your well-being, your happiness, etc. Because there is no purpose and there's no benefit of talking about the problem.
Yeah.
There is no benefit in that. Happened, have conclusions, move on. And always take care of the just good feeling, because this is another thing. When you are in the doom and gloom, because you're vibrating low, you're gonna see everything what resonates with the problem. If you allow yourself to step away from the problem, okay, you know this example, you know, people, let's say, argue, you know, and one of the partners need to just walk out of the house, go for a walk, and then it's coming back in completely different mindset, okay, and they are finding solution. It's the same in this situation. You know, you have to just put it aside for a little bit, take care of your vibration, raise your energy, and then you're gonna have access to solutions which are easy and benefit not only you but everybody involved.
Yeah. There you go, mic drop. Don't drop it.
No.
You'll break it.
No.
Well, I think we've covered a lot there.
Yes, we did.
Definitely. As always, listen, thank you for, as always, watching, listening, consuming, sharing, just stopping by, even if it's for a second. And we're back next week.
Definitely.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Drop in the comments if you find it helpful, and what sort of practices you do, you know, that helps you to stay in a positive mindset, and help you to keep smiling and actually making the most of life. And today. And tomorrow.
And if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, drop that in the comments as well. And we'll give it a bash.
Definitely.
Thank you. That was a nice heart. I think that was for my mum. Thank you. All right. Peace, love.
Enjoy.
All around.
Manifest. Peak.